2020 is go!
Hello everybody and welcome to round 8 of the Supercup Championship here at GPVWC. I'm here joined by Josh Downard as usual, and Josh, it seems like for the second time this year we have wet conditions on our hand.
Yeah, it's looking interesting at the moment. From start of practice, started raining, which I guess we can sort of expect it to be a bit wet in Silverstone. It should make for an interesting race.
It really does, and already we have a lot of different tire strategies really. There's quite a bit of people on the inters, but also some people who, well, it's kind of 50-50. A lot of people on the inters and a lot of people on the wets, so which tire is going to be the fastest is going to be a real interesting topic, because in practice it wasn't all that clear. There were some inter runners on the top spots and there were also some wet runners on the top spots, so it's going to be very interesting to see which tire is going to be the fastest.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I think it was about halfway through the practice session, after it kept raining, the wets became the better tyre. But it seems to have dropped off a little bit, the rain, since then. So I think it is right on the edge. I think if you can get the inters to work, then it will be faster, but it just might be a bit more tricky to get going.
Yep, I've just done the math, and 15 drivers out of 28 are on the inters, so 13 on the wet, so it's almost evenly divided. First laps are now coming into this qualifying session. Let's see who gets the fastest first sector here, as they're about to cross the first sector point. Some people actually, first one to lap is Pedro Gomez. He's always at the front of the field. He has the Malta Force, which actually, talking about Malta Force, they're at the front of the pit lane because they've spent so many years in this series, and they actually have a new driver for this event. We have Amari Watson driving for them, currently doing his lap, and he is FC podium finisher, doing very well. I think he's currently still 4th in the championship, either 4th or 5th, and he's making his debut in Supercup.
Yeah, Mari's. I mean, I've seen him quite a bit. I've seen him to deal with him in FC. He's a very talented driver, so be interested to see. I'm sure for him, I know he's had a few troubles the last few days getting to this point, and I'm sure the rain as well won't be helping that. But be interesting to see what you can do.
Yeah, talking about Malta Force, Pedro Gomez now had the fastest first sector, which has in the meantime been beaten by Leon Bach. And Pedro is one of the guys on those full wets, and they look very fast, but all the purple sector times are from people with interest. The first time that Pedro Gomez will set is at 44.901, and he's going to go to provisional pole, obviously, since he's the first one to set a lap. But I think Quinte and Leon Bach will be up for a very good time as well. John gets to P2, very close. Quinte beats his time with an 8.57. And now Leon Bach is coming across the sector 2 point. Can he get another purple wing? Yes, he does. That's that second purple sector. He's fastest in all the sectors. And Leon Bach, he's improving so much throughout these races. At the start of the year, he was already very fast, but the last few races, he's really almost been dominating, really. He's been the favorite by a mile, and it's not going to change here, it seems. He's purple both sectors, and this is likely going to be a provisional pole lap.
Yeah, Leon, he really has just come in here. And have you seen something on his lap?
Oh, his time!
Oh, wow!
5.
I didn't even notice. Wow, that is a great time.
It's 1.2 seconds faster than the next guy. Ziabinski gets to P2, Quinte on P3. So if you see this, the Inter seems like the better tire. But out of the top 6, 4 of them are running on the wets. It's just Quinte and Leon Bach who are not doing that in the top 6. I think the tires may be about equal. Either that or, well, Leon Bach, wow, that's just so very, very fast. David Junt currently improving his time. Something is also interesting to talk about is staying out in the wet conditions. Normally in dry conditions, you do one lap and then go to the pits and do another one. In wet conditions, people just keep driving because the conditions keep changing and the tires don't wear as much. So David John now coming through the final couple of turns is green in every sector. In the meantime, George Whitehouse actually goes purple, maybe indicating that the track is becoming faster. Frank Hemming, in the meanwhile, gets P2, and David Junt improves to P3.
Yeah, interesting in that time. As you said, normally on the inters or in wet conditions, you do want to be out just the entire session for as much as you can. But Quintai actually pit there and has gone back out in another set of inters. And Pedro Gomez actually pit and is still out again on the wet tyres. So clearly he doesn't think the inters are the faster tyre. But
I don't think he does.
I mean, seriously on box time, you've got to say that if you can get it all together, that the inters are working better.
The track is
We'll have
getting
to see what he can
closer.
do.
Track is getting faster and faster. George Whitehouse with the second time we just saw him cross the finish line. He got a purple sector 2, and he puts himself up to P2. He's now on the inters as well as Frank Hemming, who just came across the line in P3. But currently, almost everyone improving. We have currently see Dan Cal on the lap, faster sector 1. Quite a fast sector 1, actually. He's pretty close to the top runners. Second sector is not that good. About more than almost 2 seconds off of the rest. Must have made a mistake somewhere. I doubt he's going to improve on this lap. Let's see who's currently improving. Philip Koenig just improved to P14. David Junt, everyone's really still out. No one's really pitting except, as you said, Quinte and some others. That Cal just went to the pits as well. David Junt, faster sector 1, not faster sector 2. So some people improving, some people not. The rain is still going on. I think, is the rain still going on? Actually, it may have just stopped. No, it's still going on. I'm blind.
I mean, looking at it actually on the percentage-wise, it has gone up since the start of the session. But obviously you've got cars running around drying the track as that's happening. So it might end up balancing out and just stay in this kind of middle ground between
Ooh.
it and wet.
Kersmakers makes
Oh.
a mistake as it looked a bit weird. He lost it on the power on the last turn, and he was on quite a fast lap actually. He was improving on both sectors. Could have gone to provisional P2, but messes it up and doesn't improve obviously.
Yeah, I was just watching as well. Liam Rance on the lap, driving today for ST Racing. He lost it through Klopp's corner on those inters, so yeah, maybe not giving him the grip he needs. Although I see for him, he's just doing a one-off from what I understand this race, so maybe he's not quite as comfortable in the car in general. But again, he's doing decently in FC this year, just like Amari Watson, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do as well this round.
David Junt's off. That's now a good look for him. A lot of people obviously struggling, taking a shortcut to the grass there to not get into the way of anyone. A lot of people struggling here, obviously. It's such tricky conditions and you don't know what tire you want to go on. I mean, more people leaning towards the inters now, but there's still about 11 to 10 people on those wets. And it's leaving Leonov. It seems to be really struggling. He was slow in the start-finish straight, and he's now spinning once again. Talking about Ivan Leonov, he came back from a one-race ban after his victory in Montreal Race 2, where he had a controversial ending of it, where he spun across the finish line. Maybe he was too happy that he won, gave it a little bit too much steering input, but he still crossed the line in first, and the DC gave him a warning, but nothing else. So he kept that win. But unfortunately, for a different incident in Super Glides, he did get a race ban, and this is his comeback. And P9, not too shabby.
Yeah, unfortunately, while you're talking about him there, it's got a bit caught up with Amari Watson. I think both of them just kind of running out of grip, and I think a tiny bit of contact was made there. But yeah, it's good to see him back. Like I say, maybe he was just a bit too happy after that race win. But yeah, he still deserves the win, and he's back now. See what he can do.
Absolutely. So we have more people now pitting for the first time. We have Bach, Junt, and Keersmakers all in the pits. Quinte as well, and they they seem to be waiting a bit for maybe to go out a bit later. Well, they're going out now, so maybe not. But I don't know if the track conditions are better or worse. It seems like they may be a bit worse, actually. As we see a spin there, I'm not sure who that was about. Um, yeah, the track conditions seem not too great. George Whitehouse went out on the wets. Wasn't he on the inters earlier? That's a lot of
Uh,
luck.
yeah, from what I remember, I think he did set his time on the inters, but I've just from looking around, I've seen a lot of people are losing grip, and I think a few more people are on wets now than inters. So yeah, if the
Yeah.
rain doesn't settle, drivers might struggle to even improve on their times.
Talking about someone who doesn't struggle to improve on his times, he's Jens Walborn. He's faster in Sector 1 on his own time. Normally a guy that qualifies high up, but this time he's currently in P13, and with the track conditions, not favoring him, I'm not sure if he's going to improve. His second sector is slower. Everyone is slower. It seems like the rain has really came in. The only one who's improved any sector at all is Jens Walborn, as we see here coming out of is it Cupster style? Ooh,
Ooh,
oh, that's a last minute decision to go to the pits. Ooh, and he drifts through the pit almost, and that's him going into the pits, probably going out for one more attempt. But no one is improving. The track conditions have worsened, and really, it's just about getting on track as soon as possible, doing as much laps as possible, because you never know if the rain is going to increase, if the rain is going to decrease. It's always so hard to do, Josh.
yeah, definitely these conditions. Like you say, it's all about. I mean, it's all a bit about luck, being on the track at the right time. I think Leon played it perfectly at the start, setting his fast lap, and at the moment, yeah, I struggled to see people improving on that. Um, yeah, it's difficult times. I mean, Leon himself isn't even on track, so maybe he's figured that one out and isn't even going to bother to set another one because the rain is still steadily increasing to what it was at the start of the session.
Yep, it is. Yeah, we have two drivers currently improving. We have Quinte and Clont, who who are doing a faster sector one. George Bidas actually as well. Sector 1 seems to be improvable. Like Jens Wilbert also improved Sector 1, but then the other sectors are an issue, as Gomez does just improve, actually. Amari just said it seems to be one of his first times, but he went out in the wrong time. He didn't get a good lap in early, and now he's struggling with this, less grip, as we see Quinte going through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, there's so little grip on those inters here. I think that's maybe the reason why no one else is improving in Sector 2. Um, no grip at all as he comes across the sector split, and he is indeed slower, but not by too much. I doubt we'll see an improvement though. There is so little grip in this area.
Yeah, those that middle sector, like say, I mean, even in the dry, it's always on the limit of grip in these cars. You've got cops, obviously Maggots, Beckett as well, very fast corners that rely a lot on the grip. And yeah, in these conditions, especially on the inters, there's just
Oh,
not enough of it.
oh, Quinte. Well, if he improved his lap there, he would have had to give it back anyway, because that would have been a cut. But at a massive, what seems to be like a tank slapper because of the rain, it was barely held it, and comes across the line 8 and slower. George Whitehouse actually doing a 44.8, and actually David Junt improving to a 44.4. So it is possible to improve. He's on the wets, David Junt. Gets to P3. Um, it is possible to improve then. It's not
It is.
impossible.
Yeah, Craig Patson as well. He's just jumped up quite a few positions, improving there. I think Amari Watson as well. Yep, he jumps up a couple there. Um, but I think in terms of outright pace, it's definitely not in ideal conditions. So you might see him moving about a little bit further down. But I mean, Leon, he's still 8 tenths in front at the moment. So he's actually has gone out on a final lap. So we'll see if he can improve as well. Actually,
About improvement, Leonov just went to P5 with a 44.6. So maybe the track is getting a bit better again, but there's only 35 seconds left. And by that time, you have to have crossed the line and be able to do a lap. So Leonov did improve in sector 1 and 3, But then sector 2 again, no improvement there. Leon Bok decided to go out in the end, and he will start his lap soon. As Wolverine does get personal best sector 2, so maybe he can improve. I don't think he'll be too happy with this qualifying position. He's always been up there the entire season with the top boys. So starting P13 would not be optimal, and he's going to go across the line. 44.4.
Wow.
Whoa.
Ooh. He did just cross the line as well to go on the final lap. I think he messed up turn 1 a bit too much there, but that is an amazing improvement considering what we've seen from other people at this point in the session.
Yeah, it was a
No one
really
else.
good lap.
Yeah,
I didn't
no one
see that
else
coming.
really is able to do what he's just done there in terms of
No.
improvement much.
No, Leon Bach on our lap as well. He did a 28.8 in the first sector. Comparison to Walborn's lap that we just saw is a 21.8.6. So he's 2/10 slower. And there is no threat for Leon Bach. He's surely going to get this pole. I think even if the track wouldn't have worsened, he would have gotten the pole. But now with the track being worse than it was, at least so it seems like, I don't think this time will be threatened. And is he improving in sector 2? I doubt it. Let's see what he does there. 40. No, he's not. He's way off the pace. So he's just driving maybe to get a better feel. He's not going to improve this lap, and I don't think anyone else really is. Menno's still on a lap.
Off as well.
Yeah. I think that's qualifying done. I don't think anyone can improve still. There's just no grip anymore, and that means we have our qualifying results done. We have Leon Bach on another pole position. I'm not sure if that's 2 in a row or 3 in a row because he's been on it the last few races. But we have him on pole. We have Whitehouse in P2. Great job by him. Walborn in P3, pulling that lap out of absolutely nowhere. P4 for David John. Similar thing for him. Improved in the latter stages. Frank Hemming P5. Ivan Leonov on his comeback after a race ban P6. Matteo Keersmakers P7, lurking around those reverse grid places already. P8 for Matthias Zibinski. Quinte on P9, which is a name you usually expect to be a bit higher. And then Pedro Gomez on P10.
Yeah, it was an outstanding session from Leon. Like I said, I think he did a great job in getting the time in at the start. Maybe when people were trying to get banker laps in, but he went out, set an absolute flyer, and that is really what got him this pole position. In terms of maybe disappointing performances, Opportuni, I mean, he should be higher, really, from what we expect this season. He's in P17, Menno Klomp P18. But in general, it was it was an interesting session in terms of strategy. And if the rain continues into the race, I think we'll get even more of that.
Absolutely, yeah. I always love rain races. I just still remember Baku. That was, I mean, obviously it's just helped by it being Baku, but that was just hilarious. Let's just call it what it was. And hopefully we'll see a bit cleaner racing. But wet racing is always just so exciting. It's always on the verge, on the limit of grip, and seeing 28 cars go at it in those conditions is just amazing to see. Talking about penalties, we do have some penalties, not too much. We have Viscentovic with a 30 slot grid drop, which was the reason he didn't take part in that qualifying. So he will start from the very back unless something insane happens, but I don't think that will happen. And we have Ivan Leonov with a 5 slot grid penalty, I think, from Canada as well. But he couldn't serve it then, obviously, because he got a race ban in the lights race. So he's going to serve that now. And looking through the list, I think that is about it. No, Michel Gauka also 10 slot grip penalty. So he's going to start from P23. And that's all the penalties. Not too much, but there's still a few. For those unaware of how this series work, we will have a race 1, which is 26 laps long. You have to make a pit stop. Hold on, is that actually the case with rain? Yeah, you do have to make a pit stop, do you?
No, with rain you don't.
Oh, you don't with rain?
In Baku, actually, that was the top 2 didn't pit, which seemed to have caught the other teams off guard because they all did.
Oh, wow.
As long as you use the wet tyres or inters at some point during the race, you don't have to pit. So.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting because
Yeah.
Silverstone is not too kind on the tires, but you can be kind on the tires. I think we may see a lot of different strategies with a one stop or a zero stop in that case. If the race start, of course, will be wet, which is not a guarantee, but seems very likely looking at those conditions. But yeah, so in dry conditions, there would be a mandatory pit stop because you have to use both compounds. But in the wet, you don't have to use both compounds, and you can go for a zero stop. Thank you, Josh, for correcting me on that. Uh, you know more than I do. So it will run for 26 laps. Then we have race 2, which will run with a reverse grid for the top 6 to 10. Well, it depends on if the top 6 gets reversed or the top 10 or the top 8, because it will be a random number drawn by a random number generator. And that, let's say the number is 7, then the top 7 will be reversed. So on. And there will be 18 laps, no mandatory pit stops whatsoever, not even in the dry. And in those races, we've seen multiple strategies. We've seen one stops, but we've also seen a lot of people obviously go for the zero stop. Usually in race 1, it's always a one stop. I don't think many people would go for a two stop, not even in the worst case scenarios like Paul Ricard last week or 2 weeks ago rather. But I think strategy is going to play a big part here, Josh. I think tire management is going to be crucial.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously it's going to depend a lot on what happens with the weather. I mean it'll also depend a lot on what testing teams have done in wet conditions. I mean if they're not confident in taking the wets or inters to the end of the race, even if it does stay wet, then they might have to go for a pit stop. And like we saw in Baku, zero stop worked a treat there. It was David Junt winning that race. So yeah, it'll be interesting. And for race 2 as well, so I'll see even further down the line, it could stop raining completely, or it could absolutely pour down. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one.
In Baku, it was the tire difference between the guys that pitted and the guys that stayed out wasn't even that big, like half a second. You really need to gain about 2 seconds a lap, or at least one, to make up for the time you lose. We've seen it in Paul Ricard as well in the dry conditions. There were people doing a two-stop, one stop, sorry, in the second race. I was confused. I still do, and I really need to stop. But that didn't work out because they had to pass so many cars, and obviously you have limited time. The sprint race isn't that long, as it says in this name. You really need clean air to make use of those tires, because you're just gonna, get stuck in a DRS strain, and there's little you can do with high wings, which most people in these cars would run.
Yeah, and as well, especially here, like you said, it's very different to Baku in terms of tyre wear. It's that left front gets absolutely hammered around a lap here, whereas in Baku, tyre wear wasn't really an issue, even in the dry, which I think is how they managed to make the zero stop work so well. So yeah, that it all comes down to what practice people have done, and how confident they are in the rain staying and in their own tyre preservation skills. At least for race 1 and race 2, it's obviously being a shorter race, it is a bit more easy to keep the tyres alive, but we'll have to wait and see.
And wait and see. We will be back in about 5 minutes, even less than that. So stay tuned for race 1 of Supercup. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back, everyone, to race 1 of the Super Cup, round 8 at Silverstone. The rain seems to have stopped, question mark? Well, it's still going on, but it's way less. And the times people are now doing their race runs, and people are already beating the pole time. So it seems like the rain has become less in the warm-up session, and I think that means we're going to see a lot of inter tires here, Josh.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed there are still a few people trying it out on the wets, but yeah, I mean, with the times that we're getting now and with how much grip there seems to be, at least in comparison to qualifying, I think the Inters are going to be the tyre of choice. That is, unless there's a risk of it increasing again during the race, which knowing our facts too, it it could go either way.
Yep.
So maybe people aren't trusting that it will stay drier, but we'll have to wait and see on that.
It's always so interesting to see when we go onto the grid in about a minute, I would say. And then you see all the tire comments. Normally in the dries, are they going to start on softs? Are they going to start on mediums? Outside the top 10 and then race 2, the whole grid. But now, are they going to start on wets or are they going to start on inters? I see Frank Hemming driving around and he's drifting around every corner, but he is very fast. He's just done a 42.6, which is 9/10 faster than Leon Buck did for pole position in qualifying. So he's very rapid, and he's 1.2 seconds clear out of everyone. But he seems to be absolutely destroying his tires every single corner as he comes out of that drifting as well. Yeah, he seems fast, but if he keeps driving like this, I'm sure his tires won't appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe he's already decided that the no stop won't work, and he's just kind of trying to push it as hard as he can and gain that time over people that may be trying the zero stop. How many laps is race 1? Is it
26?
26? So I suppose that is quite a distance
Long race.
for them to do.
Yeah.
So maybe the one stop is the better choice.
That's what we're gonna see. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's what's so exciting because I have no idea. I have
Yeah.
absolutely no idea. I don't think even probably quite a bit of the drivers have no idea. Depends on if they have driven in the wet, if they have practiced it, because there was only a 13% chance about, and it
Yeah.
ended up being wet. So maybe we'll have maybe it will dry up in the race. That could very well be. It could also dry up for race 2, which will be interesting. Maybe it's like dry weather but still slippery. That is mostly the reason for chaos when it's slick tire but it's still so slippery. That's when most people end up in the wall because 1 centimeter off the line and you're just gone.
Yeah, I think that's we saw obviously quite a bit of that in Baku. Obviously, the last wet race we had, and yeah, it's so difficult to judge when to go onto the dries in conditions like this. Because yeah, I mean, you can go onto dries. I mean, I've had it myself. You can go onto dries and be 2 seconds up quicker than anyone else, but as soon as you get up to a car, you can't overtake them because if you go a millimeter
Yep,
wide
yep.
off the dry line, you're ending up in a barrier. Um,
What I
so
also remember is was it 2 years back? I was racing with Joel Tyne, who actually did the Hungary race in Supercup as well, and he was so rapid. But we were on inters, and he was the first one to go on slicks, and he just went 3 seconds faster than anyone else. So everyone else also went onto the slicks as well. But 1 centimeter off the line, and you're screwed. You need to be so precise. And at that time, I really wasn't. So I spun like 3 times in one corner, and that was the end of my race. So it's so tricky. But we're now on the way with the formation lap. So let's run down the grid. Leon Buck on pole. It has become expected at this race. He's so strong, he's so fast, and he's done it again. George Whitehouse on P2, very strong performance, but for him as well, he's always around those top positions, doing a really, really good job this year, especially since his hand has been unbroken. We have Jennis Wolborn on P3, David Junt on P4, both of them pulling out their quality lap towards the end of the session, which most people did not. Frank Hamming P5, I know from reliable sources he loves the wet, so expecting great things from him. Matteo Kersmakers on P6, promoted a position from Leonov's grid drop. Ziobinski, P7, Quinte, P8, Gomez, P9, Matt Richards, P10, even Leonov demoted from P6 to P11. We have Damian Cardos on P12. Andrzejewski on P13 with Philip Koenig. Then Denkel. Adriano Pacini, as you said, rather disappointing, but he's been very good on his tire wear. So if someone makes this one or the zero stop work, it could be Opacini. He's a very good tire manager. Menoclons on P17, pretty disappointing, I would say. Kobajic, actually, been talk about him making his Supercup debut. If I am right, he's went from academy to FC, now to Supercup. Who knows what he's doing? The lights seems to go move up very rapidly in P18. Craig Pedersen moved from Malta Force to PZZW Racing Team P19. Scott Mitchell on P20. Amari Watson P21 with behind him Tom Vandervoort, Miko Galka, who had the 10th place grid drop, Ben Willis, then Liam Rance with a great first name, Mark Fuller, and Jack Nichols rounding out the grid. He had some issues in qualifying, only did one lap. Unfortunate for him. Oh, Leon Bach.
Andrzejewski. Oh wait, what's happened with Leon?
Leon Bach is left the race. He's out.
Oh no.
Oh, whoa.
I had to go notice Andrzejewski spinning off, but that is much bigger.
Leon Bach is out of the race. I don't know what happened. We can't see the replay, but he has left the race and will not be taking part in race 1. So from pole, it will not be Leon Bach, it will be George Whitehouse. Wow. Vajentovic will start from the pits. I would reckon he's the final. He's the P27. He's not gone to the pit lane yet. So maybe he's not
in the pit lane at the start of the lap. Maybe he changed his tyres, but he does need to get out there.
Well, the lights are going on. We have 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and there they go. George Whitehouse leading from pole position instead of Buck. Doesn't have a great start. Wolborn already around the outside of him. Will he stick it around there? It's very possible around that turn, and yes, he does. Wolborn goes to P1, takes George Whitehouse's position. Now let's see if everyone else. Ooh, there's a crash behind. Who's that?
Kovacic and Philip Koenig, I believe it is.
That's very unfortunate. I can't see anything. There's so much spray. Oh, what happened? Only a lead change. Everything. Oh, there's a contact behind. I think that was a Pescara or was it Denkel? I'm not too sure. But oh, there's a lot of cars on the left side.
Yeah.
Go on.
It is a bit of a messy start. Craig Patson there. I think he just lit up his rear wheels a bit too much. He almost went spinning, but kept control of it. Just about.
We see Quinte going side by side with Cardos. Cardos getting that position. There's a Matt Riches is off. Drove with Jensen Button in the virtual Le Mans for Jancho. And he has an off. Didn't lose too much, but he's not gonna like it. Drops down to P20. So still Wolborn in P1 with Wildas following. Then Hemming, Junt, and Keersmakers. There has been a fair share of drama, but oh, we see it. Whoa, Matt Richards. Oh, what a save. That was absolutely amazing. I thought that was a goner. Loses another position. Well, that was an incredible save.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice it myself, to be honest. So good eyes on that. But
who's going on the outside now? Oh, who's that? That's No, it's not Pedro Gomez. It's Craig Pedersen. Oh, no, sorry. Samari Watson, who's made up quite a lot of positions. They're 3 wide now on the hanger straight. Who's going to be able to win this one? Amari slings it around the outside.
I think you've got the wet stuff too much there.
Yeah, but that's not what you want. And Matt Richards gains 1 position and defends as well in the same time. Ooh. Omari losing a lot of positions. Yeah, that's what we mean. You can't go off the line. And he has a nice slide out of the last turn. He's now P23. A lot happening there, but still Jannis Wolborn leading from Whitehouse and Hemming. But Whitehouse seems to be really pushing and he's going to try and overtake Wolborn.
Yeah, definitely. Also on tyre strategy.
Oh, Richards is off again, and it's a crash behind. That is Kovacic losing his front wing. Richards has spun around, and Kovacic seems to be an innocent bystander, really, losing his front wing, and Matt Richards drops to last.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for them too. Matt Richards, I imagine, he's got quite a bit of damage on that.
Yes.
It's been a crash with Kovacic again.
Oh, that's bad sport. Kovacic already had no front wing, and then he caused another crash. I'm not sure if it was his fault. I didn't quite catch it. But if you have no front wing, you need to be so much more careful, and that could be. If it was his fault, it could be pretty big penalty.
Looking at back, it's I mean, it looks like he was trying to get out of the way and be nice, but unfortunately, he forgot that by letting people through on the racing line, he was on the wet stuff, and
Oh,
so he just locked up and went into the side of who was that? That was the PLS racing cars, Andrzejewski. So yeah, it's unfortunate, especially as
Quin-
like I say, he was seemingly trying to be nice, but
it wasn't too bad then. We have still have Quinte battling it out with Cardos. Cardos actually gained quite a lot of positions. Cardos runs a bit wide, but should be able to hang on. Quinte chooses the outside, but that's almost impossible around there, unless you are fully alongside. And behind that, we have Pedro Gomez having a nice sneaky little look as well. But I think the battle at the front is heating up. Whitehouse is pretty close to Woburn. Obviously, there's no DRS. It's too wet for that, but it could dry up sufficiently for DRS to be activated at one point. Um, Biggest winner, though, if I'm looking at the timing sheets, could that be Galka? He started from 23rd, I think, and he's now in 12th. He won 11 positions.
could well be, yeah. Um, maybe I'll be able to talk about the tyres now that it's all calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I noticed that so in the top 10, Gomez was the only one on the wet tyres. Everyone else picking the inters. Although now actually more people on wets have passed him, Leonov and Cardas. But the rain has stopped now, properly stopped.
Ooh.
So the track will be drying up. At the moment, the wets still seem okay, but it's more later on. If you push them too hard, they will be overheating, and that will cause more issues rather than the wear itself. So maybe as long as they're planning a pit stop anyway, they can get onto the inters and try and get a bit more pace on them. Oh, as we see Carlos on the wets, actually making a bit of contact there with Quintai at Stowe Corner. That wasn't very, was a little bit clumsy maybe.
Well, both Kelly 82s having a nice little battle. Quinte with Cardos, and he keeps the position. Cardos, he's been a wall really. Quinte has been trying to get past him for like 3 laps now, and it hasn't happened. Galka had a good start, but doesn't seem to have the pace of some others. He's really defending hard from everyone. Been passed by Liam Renz, who's also doing a fantastic job at P12. He's been passed by Vandervoort. As we now may see a move from Frank Hemming. He's right on the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is Frank Hemming. He's going around the outside of George Whitehouse. It's hard to stick around there. George is on the better line and he keeps the position, but a lot of battles going on for P1. No position changes yet. But these guys, I think Frank may be the fastest out of these 3. I think for sure George Whitehouse may be faster than Woburn. But obviously passing is a bigger thing, you know. It's not that easier, especially in the wet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even in the dry, it was expected to be a quite difficult race to pass in. I think everyone will be running really high downforce. So you've got a lot of fast corners leading up to the DRS straight. And in the wet, you don't even have DRS. So it's going to be difficult. But the top 3 are still very close. Whitehouse maybe looking around the outside, but not going for it. A Woolborn there. I mean, that's a very difficult place to pass in the dry, let alone in the wet, when you'll be on the non-optimal wet line. As looking back, what's happened there? Cardas and Quintai going at it again at Stowe.
Oh, is that off? George Whitehouse is off. George Whitehouse has had an off, and he's losing 2 positions. Jumps back. What happened there? Did he just floor it too much? Did he have contact? Oh, no, completely on his own, unfortunately, but not a big time loss. 2 positions lost, though. That moves Hemming to P2, and now I'm interested to see what he can do on the back of Woburn. It looked very close, but he's got a 1.1 second gap to close now. Shouldn't be too difficult seeing as how fast he was. But there's also a thing. Maybe, there's been a crash. That's Richards again. He's not at the greatest of rounds. He's off with, who's the car in front?
Sentievich.
Yeah, it must be Vicentievich, who started from the pit lane. Not sure what happened there, but Richards has had a disaster of a round so far. Still a long way to go as Quinte and Carlos at it again. Is he past it now? Is he? Yeah, he's past him now, yeah.
Yeah, behind him as well. I was saying that Opportunity has passed Gomez.
So the Pescaros are moving up then.
Yeah, and I mean, it suggests that maybe the wets already are not having a great time out here. Leonov running wide at Crops there as well, maybe showing that too. Yeah, I mean, guess at this point they must be overheating a bit too much, and you just don't get the same grip out of them as you do as the people on the Inters are getting.
But could it be soon that there is going to be dry weather? As we see Cardos now under attack from the other Pescara, Opportuni. Is he going to be able to defend from this one? Opportuni is slightly ahead. He turns in and he's got the position. Great move. Keeps it on the dry as well. And that is both Pescaras making the move on Cardos in the span of one lap.
Yeah, it was very nice in both of them. And yeah, going on your point about the dries, I think, I mean, it is actually drying up very quickly. A bit quicker than I expected, to be honest. Definitely more quickly than it was in Baku. I believe there were periods where it wasn't raining there and didn't dry up anywhere near this quick. So, yeah, you never know. I'm sure the people that have planned a pit stop at the moment probably don't have a clue what tyre they're going on next, especially if they're on wets. Because you never know, in a few laps it could be dry enough to try out the dry tyres.
If it stays this way, I can't see them not going on it, but it is, of course, a big risk. I think the more veteran... I think if you haven't raced much wet races, it's so hard to make this decision. But I think a driver like... Who's a risk taker? Obviously, Pescara are risk takers. I could see Quinte
Yeah.
go on.
I
onto
could see the
drive.
Pescara boys going on that. Speaking of
I
risk
could see
taking,
them there.
Quintai up the inside at Cops on Leonov.
Whoa.
He makes it stick very cleanly, and it might allow Opportuni through as well, as Leonov went a little bit wide there, and it does. So, talking about them being risk takers, they were doing that in a different way there, but worked out well for them.
They're working
Looking
together
down the grid,
great.
Menno Klont, who's off at Cops. Didn't see what happened there, but he's going on board with him in the gravel. Not great there. Looks like he was battling with the Gallery 82 and contact made there. Mikhail Galka. Not very good, both of them spinning off.
He's not had a great round. And was there another contact with Galka?
Yes, it was.
He's had one in Baku as well, where that man did races. That was also in the wet. So maybe these guys don't like each other in the wet. Maybe that's why.
Could be.
We, in the meantime, have a battle for the lead. We have Kiersmakers, who's looking very rapid on the back of Hemming, and Hemming, who's looking very rapid on the back of Walborn. But what I was also interested now, look on the right side of your screen, George Whitehouse and David John both cooling down the tires, going onto the wet part of the track. I've seen Jan do that multiple times, Whitehouse as well. But they seem to be the only ones doing it. They really want to cool down those tires. Could be an indicator that they want to make it to the end on these tires. Though Whitehouse's half spin won't help with the tire wear.
Could
Definitely
be.
not.
I think Noel should tell them as well. From what I believe, I don't think R Factor actually has that where it cools your tyres if you're on the wet stuff.
I honestly don't
I
know.
may be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I believe that might be the case. But clearly they're just trying to do anything they can to keep these tyres cool, even if it doesn't work.
Gardos and Leonov. Gardos defends the inside. That's the two wet runners. I think the wets are not the good tire because look how far Opportuni and Quinte have run away from Gardos and Leonov. It's been 4 seconds now. And actually, I think Gardos must have passed Leonov because Leonov was in front at first. But the guys on Inters are going to be so much faster. And in this case, it's Liam Rance at the back.
Yeah, I can't remember what his gap was to him, but he must have closed in a lot. And like I say, they've dropped back so much from the Pescara boys. Oh, there's contact low. Liam Rance spinning round. Maybe just not quite expecting how early those guys on wets had to brake there. It didn't look like he was going for a move, but
Hey, pit stop. What was a pit stop
Tom
there?
Van
Who's
der
that?
Voort, yeah. Tom Van der Voort on the wet
Going onto
tyres,
the right?
clearly having enough.
Could he be going onto the dries? That is a very interesting thing. I don't think so. If he started on the wets, he's clearly not confident. So he may be going onto the Inters, maybe realizing that these tires are not for him, but he could be taking a risk here. Let's see if he does. Yes, he's going onto the Inters, so not quite taking that risk yet.
Probably a smart move. I think, yeah, I think it won't be long until we see the other wet runners doing that. They might have been trying to wait until their normal pit stop windows to try and not lose much time, but I think they're losing too much of it just by staying out.
Look at the gap. 4 seconds a lap
yeah.
almost.
I think if they can get Inters on now, take them to the end, might be worth it. But maybe they're also thinking it'll dry up too much and become dry tyre weather.
Well, talking about
So
making a wrong tire choice at the start, I should not be one to talk. We have Frank Hemming making a move around the outside of Yennis Walborn. Can he make it stick this time? No. Can he? No. No, he don't. He doesn't make it, but he tried, and we respect him for it. But he's really pushing hard at the back of Walborn. He's got so much more pace in him, but he can't pass. There's no DRS, though. I won't be surprised if DRS will be activated soon enough.
just had a massive wiggle there. Coming out the final corner. Also, I'll say Matt Richards in last place on track, who's drying out soft tyres,
Oh.
and actually just runs wide there because he got on the wet stuff, which shows the danger of them. But he is the first person on those dries.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I suppose from where he is, maybe he's just thinking, well, no point not bothering. If he's last anyway, he's going to try it. But
Oh, don't do that.
doesn't-
You don't. Oh,
look
you
how
don't want to go
it's
on that stuff.
painful how little grip there is.
Well, he needs to stay on this line
Well,
that
yeah.
you see, because otherwise that's gonna happen, and that's
Yeah.
why it's such a risk. Because if you do it right and make no mistakes, you gain maybe, I'm not sure if it's in these conditions, but you can gain 2 seconds a lap, 3 seconds a lap, even more
Yeah.
maybe. But if you don't do it right, you're gonna probably crash into the wall. So that's why it's so risky, and we still have Walborn leading, but it's been under threat all the race long.
Yeah, and Jack Nichols as well. Just noticed he was on the wets. He just pit onto the mediums and almost spins out of the pit lane. Wow, having to be very careful on the throttle there, and he is in the gravel. Not going too well there. Need to get on that dry line as soon as possible. It's very tricky to do. Obviously, no one has been running into that pit lane so far, so it is still absolutely soaking. And
Pit lane
yeah,
is insane always. No one drives there, she said. So when you get out of the pit lane, it's on ice. You're
Yeah.
driving on ice. Oh, spin there! It was that. The Liam Rance once again. It was a half spin. He saves it. That is. Oh, he's lost a lot of positions there. Amari Watson has gained a lot of positions. He's in 14th now. He started from like 26th.
Yeah, that's an amazing job for him. And Dan Kell and Damon Cardass are in the pits.
Yeah.
Interestingly, with Dan Kell, actually, he was on the Inters.
Oh.
So maybe he's already thinking that it's too
Come
dry.
on, Dan. Well, his teammate is driving on the softs.
Yeah,
So
Cardass
maybe
goes on to the Inters. He doesn't believe it's, or doesn't want to risk it.
Where does Denkel go on to? He's going on to the softs. Mediums, rather. Well, that doesn't matter. The slicks. There we go.
The yellow stripes.
The interesting thing is, Matt Richards has been driving on them. And he's his teammate, so he can tell, all right, so these tires are fast. Go on them. I don't know what they're saying, if they're even talking to each other. But that's probably, maybe Matt Richards was like, all right, this race is over anyway. I'm going to test the softs for you. So now we need to keep in mind, Denkel being very careful on the exit, good on him. Now we need to check out the lap times. Matt Richards' last lap of 46.4. Compare that to the leaders. That's 5 seconds per lap slower, sorry. Not faster. Now Matt Richards is coming across the finish line once again. I'm going to keep an eye on that and check his lap time out.
Yeah. At the front, I mean, they're still pretty close, those top 5. Not quite as close as they have been the last few laps. George Whitehouse
there we go.
Going for that.
40.3, Matt Richards' fastest lap of the race, if I'm right.
Well, yes, it
on
is.
The softs.
So maybe Dan Kell there, because he was in a decent position anyway. Obviously, Matt Richards could help him on the timing boards, but it might not help him position-wise. But Dan Kell, that could play off quite well for him.
That could be absolutely wonderful. Great teamwork from the guys. Really, really nice to see.
No, Amari spinning. Just click there. It's all getting very close for the edge of the top 10.
Crash in the pit lane. Liam Rance, Menno Klont, and Pedro Gomez.
Pedro Gomez with no real wing after that. That is not good. It's not what you want to see. What happened there?
Liam Rance
Gomez had to check up, and Liam Rance, yeah, he did he even brake? That's the question.
That is a ridiculous move. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it
Literally
looks
turned
like
into the back.
he was just braking as if it was dry. That is never ever a sensible thing to do in the wet, especially when you can see cars in front.
Oh, lead change.
Uh,
Hemming is now first.
oh,
With that crash, we missed the lead change, and that is Frank Hemming in P1. Well, lead change, and Waal is now going around the outside of Keersmakers, but can't quite get that done. Wow, will the leaders pit? That is a very important thing to know. Frank
just saying.
Hemming will not. Wellborn will. There we go. Another pit stop.
So for all of that, Liam Rance actually managed to get out of the pits before any of the other people with him. And Amari Watson, unfortunately, because of Pedro Gomez losing his rear wing, had to stack behind him for that entire pit repair.
Oh, Gomez is out again. He spotted out of the pit lane.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he's
and
out.
so he's ruined the team's result. Oh, let's see what happened to him. I'm just checking. Oh, two drivers both spinning. Scott Mitchell did the same. Pedro Gomez did the same, coming out of the pit lane, both spinning immediately. And that is almost synchronized. Walburn coming out of the pits now. He's on the softs, so it is dry tire weather.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Leonov, Willis, and Andrzejewski pit as well behind. Woolborn, yeah, he's been a bit more sensible out of the pit lane there, not putting the power down too much, and he's back on the dry line. And I mean, he should gain a lot of time over his leaders.
David Johns was off.
Ooh.
Who was that?
Is that Amari?
Keersmakers is off. What happened there?
Just trying to watch it now. It's like
Oh,
there was a
was spun.
back marker spinning. Amari spun as well, almost into Frank Hamming. That wouldn't have been good.
So what happened there? Scott Mitchell unfortunately spun around, and then there was nothing to be done for Keersmakers, and he just ran into the spun car, into the spun Rowan GP car. Talking about Rowan, I know they were very, very, very prepared for the dry, and they didn't want wet. And I assured them it's only 10%. Surely won't happen. And I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. And I'm very sorry to that team.
Commentators cursed before the broadcast even started.
Yes. Unfortunate. They seem to be struggling a bit in the wet. Ooh, is that off? That's a back marker off. Okay. So we still have Frank Hemming keep going. Whitehouse keeps going. Keersmakers now in the pits. Same with Jabinski. Obviously, Keersmakers has no front wing. Madrid is letting the leaders by. Pescara guys are still going. We expected them to be the first guys going to the softs or to the sticks. Not the case, but Frank going long. Another spin. That is Liam Rance again. Liam Rance again. He's not had the best of rounds, let's say.
He's
but
not.
He seems to have pace, but
Yeah,
mistakes.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, obviously he won't be very used to these cars. He's used to driving the FCE car, so I mean, he did well to get the pace out of it, but I guess just in these conditions, it's even more difficult to get used to this. Especially as an FC, he'll be used to traction control and ABS to help him out, which we don't have here. So yeah, maybe proving a little bit too difficult. Which was a shame to see, because like I say, he was doing well, but Yannis Woolborn as well, setting a purple sector 1, and Menno Klomp setting a purple lap on the Inters still. So actually that's faster than what people in drives have done.
Maybe he saved the tires.
Yeah.
Well, he's just went to the pits on another set of mediums.
Oh.
I know from Klont that he may not have the most confidence in the wet. So it could be a tactical decision. Frank Hemming also staying out onto the Inters. Let's compare the lap time of the Inter runners to the... But because, yeah, Menno has set the fastest lap on the Inters. But look at Walborn now. He's purple in both sectors. Then Kel now purple in sector 1. Yannis Walborn is 100% gonna get the fastest lap here. As Frank Hemming continues to go, but I think this lap from Yannis Walborn will be the fastest lap of the race.
Yep, Quintai as well, pit that lap. I guess he'll be going on to the soft tyres. But apart from him, yeah, the whole top 4 have stayed out. I mean, obviously they've got a lot more to lose if it does go wrong, but Yannis Walborn, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely
37.5.
fastest lap there.
Well, that just confirms it. That is it's the tire to go on. Frank Hemming, George Whitehouse, all staying out. David Young also staying out. I'm not sure if it's the best choice. Could they be looking to finish the race on these tires?
Could well be. I think even if they were fueled up to do a 0 stop, it's probably still better at this point like, what's that, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds quicker than the Inters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point they've got to change. Otherwise, I think Yanis has got this race. Quintana as well, exited in the pits on those softs. He exited fine, but obviously he's quite a bit far back from Yanis Allborn,
Ooh,
so
there's a crash.
might
Is
not be
that out?
challenging.
Oh, that's Jack Nicholls out. He's out of the race, unfortunately. Yeah, rain was not their forte, and it unfortunately showed. So that is Jack Nicholls out of the race. Other retirements: Liam Rance, Amari Watson, Pedro Gomez, and Jakub Kalabrczyk. Unfortunately for Motorforce, both cars out. It's not been their race one. There's always a race two as Frank Hemming pits. He's into the pits, and he's surely gonna go to the drive. I can't imagine him not going
Yeah.
on to drive, although his teammate didn't.
Opportunity as well, pits. Opportunity in, well, P4, but yeah, Whitehouse and Yunt both staying out. As Yunt locks up into turn 3 there and almost half spins it, which isn't good. But yeah, Frank Hemming on soft tyres and Opportunity also on soft.
Be careful on the pit exit, Hemming. You don't want to spin out. It's so tricky, and he is careful, and he makes it alive. But look at the gap that Warburn has on Hemming. This undercut was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. The gap, I'm not sure what the gap is. We have to see the timing screen once it updates, which should be around now. The gap is, well, actually, it's going to be about 7 seconds, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
More. It's 10 seconds.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting
boy.
as well that lap. So Wallborn went quicker, even quicker than his previous lap, but then Zabinski on the medium tyres went about 4 tenths quicker than that as well, just at 37 dead. So, yeah, I don't know if maybe Wallborn might have to be tyre saving because he did pit relatively early onto the softs. And I mean, even with him tyre saving, he'll still be much quicker than guys on Inters, so he could just be trying that. And yeah, with a 10-second gap to Hamming, he's definitely fine to do that. But Zabinski on the mediums, maybe he's just pushing them as hard as he can because he knows that he can get to the end.
As well as you could prefer the harder tires in the rain. Like we heard Verstappen complain in Hockenheim last year that he was put onto too soft tires. Or was it too hard tires? Now I'm completely forgotten.
I can't quite remember. I think he went on to the mediums, didn't he?
I can't remember. I thought I was the softer the
dunno.
better, but I'm not sure if air factor is even that realistic. Or the harder the better, I mean, sorry. Doesn't matter
I'm not
either
too
way.
sure.
The biggest winner from this has to be Walborn, and I'm suspicious that George Whitehouse and David Jones are going to the end. Which, on pure pace, they will probably finish behind Walborn, but in front of Hemming, I would say.
Yeah,
There's
I
10
mean,
left to go. Hemming has to win 2.2 seconds on that, which is actually quite doable. But doing it consistently could be hard. As well as overtaking. They're on the dry tires, and if they just stick to the line, there's little you can do. So that's going to
true,
be
but the longer the race goes on for, the wider that dry line becomes.
absolutely
Already, there are a few corners where they could risk it.
more pit
And
stops.
yeah, the few people in there, yeah.
Vandervoort, Cardos all going to the soft tires. Skelka as well. Ooh, Tom Vandervoort makes a mistake on the pit exit. Ooh, and he loses a position at the pit exit to Damian Cardos, who pips him and moves up a place.
That's I mean, clever from Cardas to go for
Ooh,
it.
Gelka.
Tom.
Gelka, he's come out of the pits and he's already on that line. He cut the pit exit by spinning out as Whitehouse and Jen both pit. So now it's not going to go to the end. This is Janice Walborn's race to lose. He's going to be so far ahead. Wait, what happened to Hemming? Hemming's off. Hemming is off.
Ooh.
He's spun around in Stowe. Where's the cops?
That is Stowe.
Thank you. I was confused too, but he is off and he's lost so much time and so much positions. And that means Jonathan Whitehouse will stay in front of him, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, surely they will. He it looks like he just slightly clipped that wet line on the outside, and it just sent his car straight spinning. He had no grip. Ended up in the gravel as well. So it's a shame there. And yeah, Yunt spins off. Yunt spins off on pit exit. Zubinski as well flying
Quinte
around into
caught.
the gravel. Wow.
What's
Such a kick off.
happening?
Whitehouse has kept it on the track though out of his pits.
Sibinski rejoined. Whoa, so close.
That was
But that is in the span of 2 corners. We have Hemming spinning, Zubinski spinning, John spinning. I don't even know what the order is. Well, I'm going to read it out for you. Walborn still leading. He's got a 20-second gap. If he doesn't do anything stupid, which is easy to do with these conditions, he's going to win it. Quinte moved up to P2. Where did he come from?
yeah. He was nowhere. Where did he qualify? It was
9th or something?
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
suddenly in P2. He's done an amazing job. Obviously, he was climbing up the order with Opacini, but back then he was already 8th and 7th, and suddenly he's 2nd. It helps that everyone in front of him just spun.
Yeah.
But
That
great
does normally
job,
help.
because Opacini is also just right on the back of Hemming. Pescara has got amazing wet race pace. But I was going to say the biggest winners of this were Walborn and Ziubinski, because they were 1 and 2. But Ziubinski obviously, spun on his own. So he's not P2 anymore, but he's still in a good P6, though I'm sure he's not happy with himself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Zabinski, I'm sure, like I say, won't be happy. And now, difficult years.
Ooh,
He's on the
thin.
medium tyres.
Elka, oh wow. He goes back on the line, and there is a car into the wall. Is it? Did he
Oh,
save
that's
it?
Walborn. That was Walborn.
Oh my
Almost turned
god.
into the wall. That would
Cameraman,
have
shame
been.
on you for moving away. Kidding. But whoa, that was ridiculous. Skalka, be careful, mate. That was
Walborn,
almost a leader into the wall.
I don't know how he saved that. He was on the grass. The grass would be wet. That that is not what you
And
want.
Opacini off. There's so much happening now. Opacini has spun around, and that gives Junt a shot at it, but he's quite far away, but he's got the run. Oh, there's a lot happening. Spins all over the place. No front wings lost in the last few laps, but that's what we were talking about. It is so tricky staying on the track that 1 centimeter too much and you spin. There's nothing you can do. And that's what happened. These guys want the fastest lap possible. If I'm Walborn, I'm driving 2 seconds a lap slower. Or a bit less
Yeah,
than
and
that.
even when he's doing that and staying on the track, there's still potential as still there for Batmar, because I'm sure he's been woken up by that, and he's coming up to lap 2 more. So hopefully they're a bit easier to pass.
Yeah, I hope for him and they're having a little battle in front of him. But that's the thing as well. If people spin out in front of you, there's little you can do to avoid it if it's in a bad spot. In a good place in the right time. Or a bad place in the right time. Is that the saying?
Wrong place, wrong time.
That's it. I'm not. Oh, spin. Fuller off. Fuller also in the range of points. Almost everyone in the points, outside the points, getting lapped. As I think Cardos as well. Is he spun? Is he overtaken? I saw him move down in the timing screen. He's made a mistake, I think, and lost the position to Vandervoort. Who's now actually doing a really good job in this race. Same for Klont. He's kept it on the track. Well, he had an accident earlier on, but managed to keep it on for the most part. Ooh, and there's another spinner.
Turn 3. That's allowed
that
George White
is-
up in P2, and Zabinski just managed to get past him there. So that's Zabinski. Even after his mistake, he's back on the podium now.
Wait, what happened there? He was 6th. We literally went to the rundown. Did Hemming spin again? Did we miss something?
Well, he was behind Opportunity as well, wasn't he? So, yeah, I don't know what happened there.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, Zabinski somehow made his way up to P13.
He's done an amazing job, except for that spin, obviously. But he's doing a fantastic job. There was a bit of, he's had a bit of a fair share of accidents, and his pace has always been there. And this race, he's been keeping it very clean. So a really good job to him. Obviously, I don't want to jinx it once again. But obviously, experience seems to matter a lot here. We have, the new guys struggling a bit. Leonov again in the pits now. But veterans like Klont, Junt, just stable. Hemming, not doing anything crazy. They don't have their spins and stuff. But it's nothing major, which in these races matters. And now we actually have a battle with Hemming and Opportunity.
Yeah, also interesting. Well, Menno Klont, still on his inters, is fending off Dan Kell here, who was on the medium. Getting very close. I mean, it's going to be difficult. Menno just stays on the racing line. He's got a good chance, and actually, he's pulling away down the straight there.
Oh, he's speedy.
Yeah, Dan Kell Dankel needs to be careful here because Menno does not have the braking power that Dan does.
Yeah, and we've seen them go wrong. He's going around the outside, trying the Leclerc Verstappen thing. He's
Push
now
onto
on
the wet line there. Yeah,
in the wet.
that's
And
now
that
Tom
gives,
Vandervoort right on his tail.
yeah, unfortunately for him, can't make the move done. But yeah, there's no way you can really go on Hangar Straight. The dry line is pretty big, so potentially that you can make a move there. But Klont has got a lot of straight line speed.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
it might be saving him here. He's going to end up with his own little train here. Cardass is too far behind as well.
And now we may see a move from Vandervoort on the back. Oh, Klont goes wide. That's not optimal. Vandervoort taking a slipstream, going to the inside of Denkel. Oh, it's too risky. Denkel on the outside of Klont now. And that is a good move if he
Wow.
makes it. And he does. Oh, there's a spin behind. That is
Cardass.
Galka. Oh, it's Cardass. I'm sorry. My apologies. It is Cardass. We didn't lose any positions with it, but he needs to be careful because Pedersen is now not that far off of him.
Yeah, that's not great. That was a great move though from Dan Kell. To have the confidence there when he is on the dry tyres. To go around the outside of someone.
Very, very good move, especially, yeah. The dry line must have been quite far there, and he must have observed that and done a really good job. The dry line is becoming bigger and bigger, as you said a few laps ago. So overtaking will become easier and easier, as we now have Klont under more pressure from his probably closest rival on the field, Vandervoort. So let's see if there's more heated stuff. I know there has been some heated stuff in the past. So Vandervoort now on the outside, and he's already ahead of him. So no real contest there from Menno. And he gets demoted to P10, 5 laps to go. He needs to hold on to that position. He'll love that. He has a chance to be reversed as well. Only a 1 in 5 chance, but it's still a chance.
Yeah, Cardass there as well actually spun at Stowe, or half spun it at Stowe. He did well to catch
Again.
it actually. Yep, and Craig Patterson got past him there.
That's what I was saying. He was quite far up the road of Pedersen, but he made 2 spins in 1 lap. And now, you're behind him. Now he's got another 13-second gap to play with behind him. So he needs to make sure it won't happen again.
Yeah, looking in front as well. Quintana and Zubinski are... Oh, interesting line there from Quintana to go onto the wet stuff when he's on the dry tyres. But yeah, they've been very close to the last 3 laps. DRS still not enabled though. So it's going to be difficult for Quintana there, even though he's on the softer tyres, to get past. And,
talking about the man in front though, Janice Walborn, absolutely smashing. He may not have had the best pace, but he had the biggest to go onto those softs as fast as possible. As I hear a crash sound. Did I just
I heard that too.
It's not Walborn, but there was a crash somewhere. Just checking who is alright and who is not. Everyone seems alright, to be fair, so I'm not sure what that was about.
It's Cardass with no front wing.
Oh, I just said
Made
it!
another mistake.
You have 30 seconds gap to play with. And Frank Hemming around as well. What's happening? And again, it's all happening so close to each other. Hemming loses a position to Jan as well. But that's about it. So he loses 1 position, I think. So, yeah, Cardass making 3 mistakes, big mistakes, in a span of 2 laps.
He got a bit unlucky there. He was a bit too wide on entry into Cops. And the car just went straight on. Even in the gravel and everything, he still went into the wall. So what happened here has been some even about Dan Kell.
Kell, yeah, had a little bit of an off. Got passed now by Vandervoort. But also, mad props to Dan Kell. He went onto those softs early on with help from his teammate, Matt Ridges, who tested the waters, then probably told Dan Kell, hey, the tires are good. Went onto it early and got himself to P8, now being demoted to P9. But doing a very good job. Cardass now in the pits for his front wing repair. Interested to see how much he will fall back. But talking about the man himself, Janice Walborn in front, he's doing a fantastic job. And there are a lot of pressure at the start, but it didn't matter. He went onto the softs as one of the first guys to get it with Cal and Zubinski, I think. And it paid off. He got a 10-second undercut onto Hemming, which, it doesn't sound like it's all the strategy, but really, having the nerves and the... Oh, Vicente Beach is off. Having the confidence to go onto those softs is not easy to make that call. So mad props to him. This is an absolutely dominating drive. He's still got 3 laps to go. Anything can go wrong in these conditions, but he can just cruise 5 seconds a lap slower and he'll still win this race.
Yeah, definitely. So just said there anything could go wrong. I made a little squeal. I don't know if you
Really?
heard it. I was watching on board with Opportuni, and you said Vicentievich was off. Him and that was Andrzejewski came together at turn 1 while Opportuni was behind to lap them, and I don't know how Opportuni managed to go through the middle of them two there, but yeah, I think his seat might be a little bit wet after that one, and not because of the rain on the track. That was a scary time for him, I imagine.
He survived though.
He did.
With new pants he needs, but we see Quinte taking a very interesting line. As actually, hold up. No, nothing happened. Don't worry. I'm just blind. But Quinte is looking to gain another position. Dry line is expanding, and we could have, as Cardass is into the pits again.
Yeah, he obviously pits to change his front wing, but I'm not too sure why he's pitting again. Can't see any damage on his car.
I mean, stop go? Hold up,
No,
let me check.
they are repairing or doing something to the car.
Ooh, that is
Maybe
a very
he's wanting to go for the fastest lap if he thinks he's out of the points, but
No, he's not. He wasn't at the
he
point.
wasn't. Yeah, Mark Fuller he's in loads of positions now.
He was in the points, and now he's not. So maybe something happened to him. We aren't sure, but it's a race to forget for Gallery 82, as the team boss Swell says in the chat. I think we may have a dry race too, though. If I see these conditions, it's really drying up.
Yeah. Ooh.
But
Craig Patson there. Sorry, he was trying to go around the outside of Menno Colon at Stowe, and he spun. He just got into that wet line. He was doing quite well to hold it, but just down a bit too much, and now he's. I mean, it looks bad, but it was very easy to do that in these conditions. So.
as well as he's got such a big gap behind him. As long as you don't pin it into a wall, you can risk it. You know, he doesn't lose anything from this. He gave it a shot, and it didn't end up how he wanted, so he's probably going to finish P11 anyway. As we see Quinte and Opportuni, they've done a very good job. Had a spin, both of them, if I'm right. But is there going to be team orders? I can't imagine. What's the perspective?
They're not going for slipstream, but considering in France they went for double slipstream, but not doing it here. That was a different story. But also I was interested to see that David John, well, right now he's in P7, quite close to the back of Frank Hamming, as there are 2 lapped cars there off the track in front of him. But he's where the crossfire is normally at the end of the races, P7. So if he stays there, or even if he gets P6, he's got a good chance of that reverse grid pole. For again. I don't know how many times it's been now a crossfire
every race.
Pole, but yeah. But he is very close now to the back of Frank Hamming. I think the lap cars might have helped him a little bit there as well. Interesting that DRS still isn't activated. I don't know if there's a certain track percentage that it has to be to enable that, but clearly it's not dry enough yet.
No, it's not. And talking about the reverse grid, man himself, I think Keersmakers is the one who's been profiting the most from it. He's unfortunately had that front wing loss. Ooh, there's a car off there. Who's that? Is that Leonov? Yeah, it is Leonov. But he almost seemed to take out one of the front runners, but it probably was just perspective. But Keersmakers had that front wing loss at the start, had to pit for it. I think, to be fair, it came at quite a convenient time. If you're going to lose a front wing, he definitely, wasn't that bad when he did it. But he still lost a lot of time and is going to finish P12. Not going to get reversed this time. Actually, P11, as Pedersen is off.
Yeah.
Well, he could get reversed.
Frank Hamming as well is in the grass going onto the hanger straight. So David John has got past him. Don't know if that was just down to the pressure. I don't think any moves would have been made there. No, Frank Hamming. Oh, it looks like he got on the curb on the inside at the end there of Magnussen. It's too much. Where there was a wet patch and you just lost control of the car. So Jan, a relatively easy overtake for him there as we go on to the final lap.
So it will be absolutely ridiculous. We are now in the final lap. If someone makes a mistake or crashes out, and Koenig gains another position in the reverse grid number V10, I will laugh so hard. It would just seem too perfect, but all
Well,
right.
in front of him is Menno on the Inters. I mean, it's a big gap, so I'd be surprised if they drop off that much. But
Never say never. He's winning 5 seconds a lap, to be fair. But the gap
yeah,
is quite big either way. It's not going to happen. The gap is 13 seconds unless Menno makes a mistake. This is his lap. But talking about just, well, I don't know. I was going to make a smooth transition, but it wasn't going to happen. Yannis Walborn is coming to the final sector. He's going to win an absolutely dominating race. Seems to have listened to my advice that he could just chill. He's lost like 6 seconds to Whitehouse, but doesn't matter. He's still winning by a massive margin of 13 seconds and an absolutely dominating performance here. Wins race 1.
yeah, that is. I mean, a fantastic job from him. Obviously, just the perfect time to go into those dry tyres.
George Whitehouse finishes in P2 in the meantime. Siebinski will finish a brilliant third. Really, really good job by him. I think that is his first podium, though I can't fact check that. Can't remember seeing him on the podium. Great job by him. Quinte and Obbacini are close to each other. Will finish 4th and 5th in that respective order. Obviously, no team orders. Quinte, the one fighting for the championship. Obbacini a bit further behind. David Jones and Frank Hemming both with their fair share of problems, but finishing a very good 6th and 7th. Though I'm not sure if they will be too happy with the result, especially Frank. He's made 3 spins, if I'm right. And then it's 25 seconds of waiting until we get Tom Vandervoort, Dan Kell, Menno Klont, and Matteo Keersmakers. The entire top 11 inside 1 lap. Everyone else lapped.
Yeah, been a bit of a crazy race. I did check there as well, and that is Zubinski's first podium. So
Well
I mean,
deserved.
he's been a driver that has, I guess, just been slowly moving his way up the order. Mainly noticed after the last 2 rounds. So yeah, well deserved there. Teo unfortunately could not make it into the top 10. So he
Hold
at
on,
least,
Menno's not across the finish yet.
well,
No, he
no,
is.
yeah,
I'll
he
never
managed
know.
to have been there.
Maybe he has a drive-through penalty like in Montreal and he just drops down the order. So
Yeah.
that is everyone crossing the line. It's great driving from Yannis Walborn. George Whitehouse as well. He's become he's gonna get a 10th at the podium. He's scoring podiums so consistently. Honestly, think George Whitehouse may be one of the top scorers from the last few races. He's been so consistent, really, getting those podiums. He's got a double podium, if I'm right, in Paul Ricard.
Uh,
Or
I
was it
believe
Montreal?
so. It was Montreal. He got definitely a podium. Let's check. So he's got 3 podiums in total. So I
Okay,
guess
okay.
I don't know. At some point in the last 2 rounds, he got 3 podiums. I can't remember
He's
exactly
got
which
2 in
race.
one round. I will
Yeah.
fact check that because it
Also
was not in
interesting.
Paul Ricard anyway.
Yeah, on the final lap there, Damien Cardas actually set the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, cool.
So maybe that is what he was going for, but he lost points by doing it. So I don't know if that was really worth it.
No, there's no fastest lap point, and even if there would be, he didn't finish in the points to get it. He must have had damage. I mean,
Yeah,
seems like a weird decision. So that is our race 1. We have another race coming up, race 2, which could very well be in mixed conditions. We have a not completely dry track yet, but there could also be rain on the way. So unpredictable as England. Josh, you can tell us all about it. Absolutely don't know what's going to happen. So stay tuned. 18 laps of race 2. We'll be back with you as soon as possible. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We are getting ready for race two of round 8 on the Silverstone circuit. Here we have reverse grid number, unsurprisingly and slightly suspicious at this point, is 6, which means David Jones gets pole position. Another crossfire. I'm really gonna look after this race into the statistics of how often a crossfire started on pole. Out of 8 times, I'm sure it's at least 5. It's insane, Josh.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a little bit suspicious, but yeah, clearly. I mean, as much as they do still get lucky, because obviously there is still a P6 to P10 that that it could be reverse good pole. They are just always putting themselves in the position to be there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Doesn't make it any less suspicious, but I suppose it's good from them.
It is, and we have everyone now. Well, most people going out and doing some laps in the conditions, which are still mixed. It's not raining anymore, but the track definitely isn't dry, and I can't imagine anyone starting on the interest. Though Menno could maybe go for him in a clone, as he was
Yeah,
the only one really going with the interest to the end in the last race. He doesn't seem that confident as some others.
potentially. I think from now though, I mean he's out testing on this medium. I think it's definitely dries. Like you say, I think it'll be a bit of a surprise to see anyone starting inters, because after the first few laps, they'll definitely be a bit, they'll be overheating and just not have the grip of the dries.
Yeah, and he's
Uh,
currently going around on the mediums. So it's going to be an interesting strategy then, as we are going dry. We've had everything this weekend, and this is just race 1, as we'll have Super League Lives tomorrow, where you can see your favorite people like me drive around. Totally humble here. Uh, and the day after that, we have Super League, the main Premier Series, all around the same time, so make sure not to miss that. We are going to the grid. It is going to be starting dry. You never know what it ends up being, as we said in England. But I reckon, yeah, everyone should be on those dry tires.
yep, it'll be interesting as well actually, because they didn't. Oh, I mean, they should have done practice on it, but I didn't necessarily get the data about how fast softs and mediums could go from that last race. I mean, it seems like a lot of people going for those medium tires. I guess because there are a lot of laps around the track here. But that'd be interesting if people try a one-stop race on soft tires, maybe.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting to look at that. Yeah. So I want to talk about 2 people, and conveniently they are at the back of the grid. So once we start the grid rundown, I will talk about them at the end of it, because 2 big names. And to one we know what happened, but the other one is a new name for race 2. So from pole position we have David Junt. Crossfire, so he's always on pole in race 2, doesn't matter which one. Opacini gets P2, then Quince P3 Pescara. Very good starting position in the second race, especially as it's so hard to pass off the line here. Tiabinski P4, great performance, first podium of the year in race 1. George Whitehouse doing a great job again, another podium. Walborn, 13 seconds lead, wins race 1, now starting from P6. Can potentially do the same thing. Well, not the same thing exactly, because 13 seconds is a big gap, but he can do great things in this race. Frank Hamming, P7. Tom van der Voort, P8. Cal behind him. Klont in P10. This time not on the inters, but on the softs, medium, sorry. Keersmakers on P11 after losing his front wing in race 1. Craig Pedersen behind him, then Koenig. Galka, Leonov, final point scorer, P15. Vicentovic, P16. Behind him, Fuller. Cardos. Scott Mitchell, who's just like Jack Nicklaus' teammate, is going to enjoy these dry conditions way more, so let's see what they can do. Andrzejowski behind him in P20. Ben Willis, P21. Matt Richards should be P22, but he is starting from the pit lane. Jack Nicklaus, P23. Liam Rance behind him, then Amari Watson. Unlucky race 1 with an accident which ended his race. Pedro Gomez behind him, same thing for him. Then we have Jakub Karabarczyk, and then we get to the 2 guys I want to talk about. Liam Bach, Ruud Heesterbeek, which has just joined the server for Satellite. Liam Bach obviously had that disconnect in race 1. No points, started from pole, but didn't actually start from pole. He's going to start from the back, and he's going to have to do some heroic moves to gain a lot of places to get back into the top 10 or top 15. Which is not easy with these conditions. And they have Ruud Heestebeek, who didn't do race 1 at all, didn't get disconnected, but just now showed up. And he's obviously extremely fast. He is, if he puts in the practice, he could practically win every championship. He's a crazy fast driver, but I have a suspicion he's not done any practice for this race, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he wasn't able to turn up for race 1 isn't a good sign on that point. Maybe he was just being smart and wanting to stay in the dry. Didn't want to have to deal with all the rain. But yeah, like you say, he's very fast. It'll be interesting to see if he has put in the practice and if he can make his way up the grid. Because there'll be very good points of satellite if he can. Just want to say as well, Andrzejewski, starting P20, is the only driver on the soft tyres. Everyone else is on the medium. So whether that means he's going for a one-stop or he's just very confident in his tyre wear, don't know.
Very interesting. Yeah, we're going to see if he's going to push the tires now. But for now, we are on the way for the race. As Junt has a bad start, actually. I think it's... No, it's not. It's a good start, actually. There's Quinte with a better start than Opportunity going around the outside. Opportunity lets him by. And there is a car going wide as Whitehouse. And there's a crash behind. That is Pedersen off together with Galka, I think. And who else is that? That is Whitehouse off.
Wide, yeah. There's a lot of people off at the exit turn 1. I think, been a crash there on the runoff of turn 1. That is never what you want to see.
Bok has already gained 8 positions in all that. So a good start from him. We have Junt leading still from Quinte, who's gained a position on Appiccini, Wolborn, Ziobinski, Dankel, who had a very good start actually, and almost hits the back of Ziobinski. Tom Vandervoort behind him, and then Koenig. Oh, Gelkas went off there. He's got no front wing. I think he was the one who caused race 1. Gallery 82 not off for a good start in race 2. Unfortunate for them. Doesn't seem to be there around yet, but they've got Cardos still in P14, so anything can still happen.
Yep, it's I mean, I guess to be expected considering the conditions, but it was a bit of a messy start there. You've got Ben Willis already out of the race. Craig Patterson actually spun out of turn 5, it would be, on his own. Unfortunate there. Yeah, there's just a lot of people back where they're not meant to be. Mikhail Galka obviously with no front wing. But like I say, Leon Bock made his way through very well, and Ruud Heestebeek is following him right on his tail, just trying to make his way through the grid with him. So it's a good start there.
Yeah, I mean, they started next to each other, and they still are next to each other. So we do have here Leon Bock getting a lot of positions, but obviously there was some stuff going on at the start. We had Whitehouse losing a lot of positions. We had Galka losing his front wing, and you know, people are going to slow down, and there's more opportunity as that is a car spinning, and there's another car spinning. Kovacic together with George Whitehouse, and Whitehouse is out. Whitehouse spun in front of them. We were just talking about him.
Yeah, he got very unlucky there. He got a slight touch there from, it must have been Cardas, sending him spinning, and he was parked there for so long, but very unfortunate that Kovacic also managed to lose his car. And yeah, took off his front wing, and George had done enough, I guess, which can't really blame him.
And that means Bock is already back into the points. He's 15th, Heestebeek 17th. I didn't think it was going to go this fast, but a very good result could be on the cards here. I'm pretty sure everyone will one stop, except for 0 stop. I'm so sorry, everyone. I keep doing it. I keep doing it. 0 stop. I think Ziobinski may be going for a. Or wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was Andrzejewski. Yeah, he may be going for the 2 stop here. 1 stop. I hate myself. I'm so sorry. Anyway, David. Oh, there's a car off. Is that Pescara? No, it's Vandervoort. Vandervoort is off. He lost his front wing. He's just barely not crashed into the pit lane, so that is convenient. But that is his race surely over. Head coming out of Stowe,
yeah.
Alright, I'm learning. There we go. He had probably went into the wet patch, and that is probably no more points on the cards for him. He's going to lose so much time and positions. Leon Bock also lost positions. Did he go for a spin? Let me look at the replay. Oh, Bock went for a spin, similar to what was that Hemming did in race 1. Coming out of the final turn. Oh, it was actually Whitehouse who did that. Never mind. Similar thing. Bock also lost 3 positions. So it could be worse. Klont also went off. A lot of people struggling in these conditions. Klont was actually pretty high up. And now he's under pressure from Jack Nichols, who actually made up quite a lot of places in this last lap. He was 21st at the end of it, and he's now making a move on the inside on Klont. And they're both going off. That could actually get the teammate of Jack Nichols a run down Menno Klont's inside, and he gets him. So that is Drone GP moving up a lot of places in the span of one lap.
Yeah.
But actually, I think Mitchell may have made a mistake. He was 15th, was he?
Who was that? Sorry.
Mitchell.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Everyone
Yeah,
is making mistakes.
Yeah, I was trying to look through the grid and it all seemed to be changing as I was clicking on different people.
Oh, and there's another car off. Who's that in the background? Oh, there's a blue car. I can't see who that is. Is it the car that's? No, it's Koenig. Philip Koenig went very wide, and I think he lost 2 positions, or at least one. No, he lost 1 position. Very unfortunate. No, he lost 2 positions to Kermakers and Hemming. I don't know what happened there. Maybe he went onto the wet patch and went a bit wide. It's not really the end of the world unless you really spin, and that is when you really lose a lot of time, like Van der Voort did. You don't want any damage in the race, which basically means your race is going to be over.
Yeah, although in these conditions, if enough people do it, then obviously you can get damage and carry on and potentially still get points, but obviously it isn't ever ideal.
No.
I'm interested to see Andrzejewski. He's got himself into P12 on those soft tyres. He's in a bit of no man's land at the moment, but I'm interested to see, one, if he is going for the no stop or the one stop, and also if he is going for the one stop, what his pace is going to be like. Does currently have the fastest lap of the race, but not by too much. So it'll be interesting to see what he could do. And also David Young at the front is
Pulling away.
Yeah, he's absolutely pulling away. Which he seems to do sometimes. He's had a bit of an interesting season in terms of that. Obviously Bahrain, he won race 2 in I think a pretty similar situation. Got reverse good pole and just pulled away. But at the same time, he's obviously had some bad races. Canada, I guess, being the main one. So I mean, it's good to see him out there. He's definitely got the pace, but and it will help him get his way back in the championship. Because obviously he dropped down a little bit from.
Quite a bit.
Was he ever leading at one point? I believe he was.
Yeah, I think he either was leading or very, very close to it, but he's now quite a bit back. He's 56 points behind Leon Bach. Leon Bach obviously didn't score in race 1, and he's not going to score great points, I would imagine, in this race, because he's still stuck behind Gomez, Hastebeek, and Rans. But yeah, Frank Hemming is a big winner. Quinte is a big winner this race. Walborn is he's 111 points behind Bach. But he's shown that he's got pace. He's really come alive in these last few rounds. The pace is there. I think the consistency is what's missing for Walborn. But for the teams, the fight is so close between 3 teams. And with Razor doing continuously well, you know, that could be 4-way fight for the team. We have Pescaro at 272 points. Second in the standings, behind Namako by 4 points. And Crossfire on 10 points less than Pescara. And then Razor on about 34 points less. So it's all so close and could change within a race.
Yep, it will change because Frank Hamming has just had some sort of off at the exit of Magnus and Beckett. It looks like, he just spun on his own. There, I don't know, he must have just maybe turned a bit too much or got very slightly onto that wet patch, and yeah, he spun, lost a few positions there. Got himself into P12.
Yeah, got 4
so
positions.
Not best of rounds for Namco. Like you say, they are currently leading the championship. I think after this, they definitely won't be.
No.
Crossfire, Matteo, he's got himself up to P7, which is good. Obviously, they both scored in race 1, so they'll be gaining a lot. And yeah, Pescara, they've done amazingly in both races, so it's...
Pescara must be leading after this race.
Yeah, I think there must be. But yeah, like you say, the championship is so close. And actually, as I say, that would be even closer. Liam Rant has spun off, and that's allowed Liam Bock into the points, into P15. But still behind Gomez and Heathby. So he'll be hoping to get past them.
Oh, and he goes back on the track, drifting. That is, oh, be careful, it's so wet. Liam Rens had enough. I'm not sure if the two were connected. I'm just going to check right now if they were. Oh, what? Ooh. So I'm looking at the replay. Liam Rens rejoined and completely caught Jack Nicholls off guard, who then, as a result, spun out. So, questionable stuff happening from Rens, I would say, this race, especially the pit entry that he had in race 1 is very questionable.
Yeah.
But his pace was there. He is very fast. Just needs to iron out those mistakes.
Yeah.
And he could be on for very good results. But this race, he's currently P18, quite a bit away from the points.
Yeah. Just looking back at the front, actually, we went on our big thing about David Young, but the train behind is slowly closing in. It's dropped down maybe a few tenths over that last lap. Quintai seems to just have the pace, and with the DRS, which is now activated for this race, is just dragging along his teammate, but also all of the other people behind. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he's just trying to keep it a bit calmer and ensure that he's still got the tyres left at the end, or maybe he has just not got the pace. But yeah.
Something that's interesting to talk about as well, which we haven't touched about. DRS is now activated. So overtaking will be so much easier. I'm not sure if it's been since the start of the race. I imagine it would have been. Because we see Zibinski going a tiny bit wide there, but as long as you don't go too wide, the dry line is big now. The curbs seem to be touchable as Zibinski goes over all of them. And goes on the grass as well. But this is a big train indeed. Walborn looking very fast at the back of Opportuni, but Opportuni just has DRS and profits it. You know, his teammate is really dragging him, as you said, and if you keep doing that, it's really hard, borderline impossible to pass someone.
Yeah, it really is. Like you say, the dry line has got bigger. But yeah, in a big DRS train, you have to go for risky moves if you want to make any positions, and in these conditions you can't do it. So it'll be interesting to see what can happen with these at the front, because they are definitely closing in even more in Young there. Took another 3 tenths out of them that lap.
Almost the arrest.
Yeah, very close, yeah. Maybe by the end of this lap, if they continue on that form, and Jack Nicholls, is out of the race. It's like he just lost it in Maggots and Beckett's, and that was such a light touch, but enough to take the rear wing off, and that's his race over. It's a shame to see that.
It's an absolute shame. Yeah, I knew they were hoping for a dry race. It wasn't to be, and unfortunate, really unfortunate. So we currently have John still leading. The gap is diminishing every single lap, and DRS is on the cards here for Quinte soon if he keeps up this pace, because the gap now is only 1.1. Let's see if he crosses this sector line. It's at 1.0. No DRS yet, but on this rate, one more lap and he's got it.
Interestingly, Opportuni, he was dropping back a little bit, still keeping within DRS, but he's also closing in maybe a little bit more on Quintai. And Walborn maybe dropping back a little bit. So maybe the Scaros are trying to make it just a 3-horse race, rather than dragging along the guys behind, because they are all still in one big train. Going all the way back really to P10, Damien Cardass.
Yeah, big DRS train. Top 10 within 6 seconds, basically. And behind there we had Hemming, who made that mistake in Max and Beckett's. He dropped out of this train. He's now in 12th, and Klont is not scoring any points so far. So it really is a shame for Namco. They're gonna lose the lead of the championship, and they will have, with Buck on the rise. Obviously, Buck's not gonna score big this race, but he's been scoring big every single race. You need, if he didn't disconnect this race, he would have probably won race 1. It's fair to say. As Walborn's falling back, I see him on the driver's seat.
spun, I believe. Yeah, he just put too much power down out of, I believe that's Luffield. I sort of know my corner names, but not fair. I believe that's Luffield, the long right-hander.
Oh, another crash. I'm not sure who that is. That is Liam Rance out in the wall. He has no front wing. That's an interesting part to do it on. He spins around. Be careful. His car's coming. And I think he's going to press the nice escape button. There we go. He's out of the race. Not his race. The pace is there, but too much mistakes and ends up without wings in both races. But at the front, Quinte has DRS, Josh.
Yeah, and with Wallborn spinning, that has, well, done exactly what Scaras would have wanted, but maybe not in the way they were expecting. Yeah, it means they've got a massive gap back to Zabinski in P4. Opportunity as well, actually, is dropping back from Quinte. So he might end up a bit on his own. But yeah, it means Quinte, he should be just on his own, battling David Young for the lead, which is, I'm sure, exactly what he would want.
Behind, at the closing end of the point scorers, we had Gomez going for a half spin in front of Bach, and Bach has gained the position because of that. So Bach now up to P14. Yeah, he was P15 after lap 2, and he's not done much. He's obviously had that spin since, which lost him a few positions, but he's not looking that fast. His racecraft in lap 1 and 2 were very good to make up that many positions, but he's not driving insane lap times. Obviously, he's not in clean air, but then again, he's not making light work of the passes. But that makes sense. You know, he's obviously on the wet line if you want to overtake. As we now see David John breaking the slipstream, trying to break the slipstream on Quinte. But Quinte needs to be careful for his teammate to get out of the DRS because the gap is now approximately a second as well.
Yeah. Interesting as well, seeing that Andrzejewski is still going on those soft tyres. He hasn't made a pit stop yet. And we are now obviously over the halfway point, so he may be going to the end on them. Which, if so, he's done good pace, and if he can keep those tyres alive, that's very good.
That would be very impressive. Obviously, we don't have many people doing that. He's the only one. So that really, makes a good point about tire wear. And historically, and I'm not trying to stereotype here, Poles have not been that great on their tires. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Andrzejewski proving everyone wrong. He's doing a great job, great pace. I'm sure he's going to be a Gears Makers is dropping down the order. Is that a no front wing?
No,
is that front wing? I can't see properly.
From what I can see, he's still got
It's still got it, okay. Yeah, he still got front wing. Good, but he went off and lost a lot of positions.
Yeah, he just put the power down slightly too much and then ended up on the wet stuff. He did well to keep it relatively in the right direction there.
Cardas is off, and that allows 2 people through. Walborn gets the place back, and then Jazelski on those soft tires gets the place back. I'm not sure what happened to Cardas, but that's why we have you, Sir Josh. Check out what happened to Cardas.
I'll have a look. Oh, it looks like that was also out of Luffield, like Walborn did, but he went for a more impressive looking 360 there. Very close actually to hitting Walborn on the swing back, but he managed to just about not do that. And Andrzejewski was risking it a bit there when he did get past him, but yeah, I mean, he's not lost anything apart from maybe a lot of tyre wear. So he'd be open to stay.
Well, he lost a position, did he?
And a position, yeah, or 2 positions, like you said, but
yeah,
I'm sure he's more happy to still be in the race after that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a 200 beats per minute moment. At the front, we have Quinte now breaking loose from his teammate and in the DRS range by a mile. And this, I'm not sure if he's close enough here, but he is within 0.4 of a second now, and he's not close enough to make a move. But slide luck up, he is looking. He's looking to get this position. He's all over him. There's 5 laps to go. He wants this victory.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously you haven't seen to have the pace at the start of the race, but maybe he burned his tyres a bit too early, and now Quinte is able to just make his way back up to him. So one other driver I want to talk about is Philip Koenig, in P6 right now.
Oh,
that would be by far his best result this season, and really one of his better results even in the last few seasons. So I mean that's good to see. It's been a bit of a difficult start for that whole team, RTD. But he's currently doing a great job, sitting in P6. Got Ivan Leonov behind him, looking a bit feisty, but it's good to get back to Yannis Allborn. So yeah, if he can take it home in this position, I'm sure he'll be very happy with that.
Even if Leonov tries to make a move, I say just let him go. P7 is a great result. He's done really good even in race 1. I can't quite remember where he finished. I will have a nice little fact check. He finished in P13, which is still a nice solid amount of points. And he's done amazing to get back into P6 now. He's under pressure from Leonov, yeah, but this if he finishes this race either in 6th or 7th, or even in 8th if Albon catches up, that is a fantastic result. So he's been doing amazing. Silverstone really seems to suit him.
As you say, that Leonov actually did go for a spin there.
What?
All gone through and almost Andrzejewski. He got put off there. That's allowed Carter through.
Leonov, and then
contact.
crash. Oh, he goes back onto the track, but he's going to lose 2 positions, 3 positions even.
He's on the wet stuff. Yeah, no grip out there.
Well, he's lost more. He's lost 5 positions on that, and I have to say that was dirty by Leonov, but in the end he screwed over himself. So how did Alonso say that again? Karma,
yeah.
karma. It was
Karma.
dirty. He seemed to really not want to lose more positions, and forced, I'm not sure who that was, but he forced someone, tried to force him off, and then
Cardas, I believe.
And then he just went off himself. So can't really blame anyone except himself for that one. Unfortunately, it's meant he lost 5 positions, or even 6.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd hope to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe he just didn't see him as.
Ooh, sorry.
Going on in front.
Frank Hemming makes a nice move, switch back on Andrzejewski. Now that gives Cardas a move around the outside. Maybe, there's contact, but there's only slight contact, and that's good enough. And that makes Andrzejewski on the wet stuff. He's losing so many positions. That's 4 positions already in the span of 2 corners. Oh, Andrzejewski's side's maybe gone as well.
Behind that, Leonov and Bock actually made contact there on the straight. Leonov making his way through with massive overspeed. I don't know what happened to Bock in the final corner, but Leonov, forced his way through a bit there. Bock goes up the inside. Ooh, that wasn't good. And Quintai and Yunt at the front.
Oh, the gap at the Delta was so 10th.
Yeah.
And he hasn't made the move stick, but Opacini and Ziabinski have both closed in massively. So I'm not sure what happened there.
I think looking at it, Quintai just tried to go around the outside at the left hand of it, couldn't quite make it stick, and obviously that would have slowed them both down a bit. Like you say, it has allowed P3 and 4 to close in on them. P5, Dankel, who himself actually was having a great race to be in P5. They've dropped back a slight bit. But yeah, hopefully it'll get a little bit more spicy for the lead here. Quintai not quite close enough down the hanger straight there, but yeah, you can see that he wants it. It's just whether he can make the move stick.
Yeah, we see even Leonov under pressure from Bach, but Leonov also pressuring Andrzejewski. I think his tires may actually be a bit on the bad side. As you see, Bach trying to take a different line. Oh, and defending Bach! He holds it! What an absolute fantastic save! I saw that was a Vettel Verstappen, but Bach saves it. That was a fantastic job there, and that's a bit wide by Gomez. But wow, my heart rate was very high there, and nothing happened there, but it was very close. It was on the verge of going wrong. At the front, we still have Quinte in the slipstream of John. No move being made here. Last lap, they were very close. There was only a 10th between them, but now there's 3 tenths between them. I'm not sure where he has to do it. It probably will have to be hanger straight after Meggets and Beckett's, as we see Andrzejewski under pressure from Leonov. Leonov again on the wet, and now rejoins, and they touch box round. Oh, it's not Bach.
It is Bach. It is Bach. Leonov, both rounds.
And that is, Leonov lets him in front, but that loses them a bit of positions, a lot of time, and that basically means they can't hope for anything more than P14 and P15, I would say.
Yeah, I didn't see that incident itself, but Fock has been looking a bit more feisty. As
Whoa,
Quintai,
Quintai!
speaking of feisty, was up the inside on that wet stuff. Somehow manages to stop the
Oh!
car, but Jan back alongside him, side by side into club
Oh,
corner,
the
and they
car!
cut.
The John's
Oh, and
round!
Jan's round. Oh, that's
That is
even more like the Vettel Stappen incident you're on about. That
that's devastating, and that means Pescara is now 1-2. I'm not sure whose fault that was. I'm not the DC, luckily. Oh wait, I am. Well, I'm not doing Supercup anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that was just a shame to see from P1 to P4, and that means Quinte is going to win this race. I'm not sure if there's going to be any talk at the end of it. It could be Appuccini's first win. Actually, not his first win, is it? Because he won in Turkey, I think. Second win.
yeah.
If there is a penalty for Quinte, but that is later decided. Unfortunate, really. You hate to see it. It was a good battle, a nice switchback from Yunt. And I think in the end it may have been Quinte that just
Yeah,
closed
it
the
looks like
door.
they just didn't quite leave with enough room. Maybe a little bit from both sides. But yeah, like I say, it's just unfortunate to see. I would say though, it has allowed Zubinski up P3 again. For
Yeah.
obviously he got his first podium, a bit like George Whitehouse in Canada, isn't it? He got his first podium in race 1, and now he's set for a second, as long as he can keep it on the track.
As long as he keeps it on the track, he is my driver of the day.
Yeah, and even if he keeps it close to the Pescaras in front, which at the moment they seem to have the pace on him, like you say, with potential penalties, it could be a bit better for him. But yeah, I think he has done an amazing job. Either way.
Sound somewhere. That is
Leonov.
Leonov out.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm looking at the replay right now. Seems he bent it on his own in Meggetts and Beckett's.
Gomez is round at Stowe with no front wing. Oh, he's round again trying to rejoin. That's not what you want. I didn't see what happened there, but it's not good.
I'm talking about Koenig. We were talking about him staying stationary in his position. He's pushed. He's close to Dankel. So I'm saying Uzi Ubinski, driver of the day. Koenig has a good shot of it as well. I would still give it to Zubinski. But Koenig is a very close second for me. He's done an amazing job. And he's putting brilliant pressure here as well. And Dankel actually maybe going for a move here.
Dankel himself is also doing a good job to be where he is. Can't quite remember if he's done races so far this season or how many he has done.
I'm pretty sure he's done some races. Yeah, he has done races, but he's on 0 points. I'm not sure how much races he has done. So he will score first points in this event, which is a very good job. And they're not bad points. He's P5, and even in race 1, he was a brilliant top 10. Not quite sure where he finished. He finished in P9. So great job by him. But at the front, we still have a battle going on for P4. We have Dankel maybe going for a move. Oh, John's going on the wet, and now that gives Dankel spaces.
Oh no!
And that leaves Koenig to go through. He's going to P4, and that could be even P3 if Quinte gets a penalty for that incident. But in the meantime, Quinte wins the race. There's more drama behind. Appuccini second.
Oh wow! That's a bit messy. Cardas is round, and who's that? He's to Beaker's lost his front wing.
Oh, there's so much drama going on. Cardas.
So he's to be managed to take his way to P8 with that. Cardas P9, and Keersmakers and Yun, P10 and 11. What was looking like a great race for Crossfire. It hasn't turned out quite as well as they would have hoped.
What a disaster of a last lap. Menno Klont and Scott Mitchell will be the last point scorers. Oh, Koenig in P4. That incident with Davy Junt and Dankel, was it? Has promoted Koenig to P4. And that is a very, very, very good result for him. One of his best in Supercup in a long time. But it's demoted David John to P11, Keersmakers to P10. Haystebeek in the end went to P8. He started from dead last on the grid, don't forget.
Yeah.
Great job by him, even though he crossed the finish line without a front wing.
Too many people to give driver of the day to, isn't there? Zubinski again with his second podium, Koenig P4, like say, Dankel P5. Yeah, it's been a bit of a mad one there, especially that final lap. After all that, Andrzejewski, even with his tyres seemingly absolutely dying at the end there, he still managed to get home P12, which I'm sure he'll be quite happy with.
So I'm looking
Uh,
at YouTube chat right now, and I hear things said that Ziobinski crashed into George Whitehouse. We missed probably was the lap 1 incident. I'm not too sure, but if that means if Quinte gets a penalty and if Ziobinski gets a penalty, that could see the likes of Philip Koenig and Denkel promoted to the podium. But
yeah,
that's for the stewards to decide. Quinte provisionally wins this race. Opportuni second. Opportuni didn't do anything wrong that race, did he? He's gonna definitely keep that P2, maybe even inherit the win. Then Ziobinski provisionally P3, Koenig P4, Cal P5, Walborn 6th, Frank Hemming 7th, Hayes de Beek 8th, with Cardos 9th, and Kersmakers rounding out the top 10. Josh, what a race! What a race is!
yeah, that was mad. And thinking again what it means to the championship, I mean, Pescara, if it stays like this, and even if Quintai gets some penalties, they've done a great job this round. They've definitely leapfrogged everyone. They'll definitely be in the lead of the championship after this one.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, Namiko, Frank Hamming, he still managed to get back P7, but and Menno P14 actually, but it's still not ideal. And obviously, Crossfire, what could have been David Junt there, P1 to P4 in that first instant, and then dropping all the way down to P11. Yeah, that's not great. But still solid points, I guess, for Crossfire there. So they'll, I'm sure, be looking on to the next race to improve on that.
I mean, are there any actual happy people? I think Pescara are pretty happy.
Skara, Zubinski, definitely. I'm sure
True, true.
Koenig and Kel, they'll,
But
yeah,
okay, but in terms of teams, only Pescara really, and even they didn't have the cleanest race. They're gonna probably be put under scrutiny with the DC
yeah,
for that crash. I'm not sure if it will be reported, obviously, but it's not 100% sure yet. This victory, let's just say that. But they are surely going to be happy. There were some great races. Wet always provides fun. It never ends, really. It wasn't Baku. It was just the wet, was it? Because we had two cracking races once again.
yeah. It's like I say, it always throws up some surprises, and it's definitely done it here. I will say as well, Zancho, obviously Dan Kel driving for them. They'll be definitely a happy team as well. They had 35 points going into this round, and I think it's 15 or so points, isn't it, for P5? So
Yep.
yeah, they'll be very happy with that points haul. Um, but yeah, crazy race.
It really was. Fortunately, we don't have any interviewees, so that will be us ending the broadcast here. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to our cameraman, Rob Mason. And obviously, thanks to you, Josh, for the amazing commentary. It was really fun as usual. We will be back tomorrow for the Super League Lights round of Silverstone, which has also quite a bit of wet prediction. 50% chance I last heard. So thank you all for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow.
To keep up to date with the latest GPVWC videos, click on the subscribe button, or check out more of our exciting sim racing action by choosing a video. For more information on the league, visit gpvwc.com.